Hey, this is Troy Taylor with Totem Pole Nation, and we are live in the words of Coach Bald. Coach Bald has brought the Squared Circle Maniacs to Totem Pole. The Squared Circle Maniac podcast starts today. So I have 3 of the members on. Can I ask y'all to please go to y'all's Twitter and it's on y'all's phone. If you're not on your phone, go to your Twitter and retweet the live tweet of this stream right now so all of the Squared Circle Maniacs can watch. But these guys are great. They like old school wrestling. I'm going to sign off. I'm going to pass it to them. Don Wayne, you want to introduce everybody and get everybody going? I love y'all. Y'all are the best. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Coach Taylor.
Yep. My name's Don Wayne. I'm the mouth of the SCM. Here to talk a little bit of wrestling today. We got the president Motorhead sitting here on the screen with his hat backwards looking like he's ready to choke somebody out. And we got Johnny Bottles, the mouth of the SCM as well. He is our voice, the golden goose. Say hello, everybody.
What's up, everybody? How you doing?
How's it going, peoples?
So I guess we're just here to tell you a little bit about ourselves. The president's got to go here shortly, and I don't think it's going to be the longest show we have. But if you're tired of today's wrestling, if it drives you crazy, if you tune in every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday night and feel shameful about what you're watching, we're here for you because we feel the same shame deep down inside. It eats at your soul as a wrestling fan. It eats at your very core fiber of being, and it kills your love for wrestling. But every now and then, once in a while, once in a real great while, you get that nugget that sucks you back in, and you can't get enough of it. That's why we're here.
Amen, Don. Thank you for that, brother. And that is straight up 100% truth. You know, the wrestling nowadays, a lot of people dig. A lot of people like it. But there's a whole bunch going on that us guys that have been watching it since we were in our early childhood ages in the 70s, that it's just not the same anymore. It's definitely not the same. And there's reasons for that. We know all the different organizations. We know who's running them. And my whole key to what Don just said here is the fact that, and Johnny Bottles has also mentioned something like this before in the past, there is no more believability. There is no more believability in professional wrestling. I remember the first time I saw Kamala live, it scared the living crap out of me. I thought he was going to eat people and had no idea about kayfabe until I got way older. So Don's question, super valid, super upfront, and right to the point. But for me, it's the believability factor. You don't believe any of it.
You're exactly right. It's if you watch, we're going to mention those 3 initials again, Don. Don't get fired up. Hold on to your seat. AEW. If you watch that, how about New Japan Pro Wrestling? I know they're notorious for flippy, floppy, divey stuff. It's no believability to that whatsoever. It's like a synchronized cheerleading exhibition where one of the cheerleaders is on a pyramid of other cheerleaders, and they jump off, and there's someone there to catch them, and then they do a backflip and land on their feet. And it's Harley Race is probably rolling over in his grave thinking about AEW right now.
Without a
because
doubt.
There's no believability to it. No believability to it. And the guys that are believable, sort of, like let's say Jeff Jarrett. He's a veteran. Jeff Jarrett's been around since the early 80s. He wrestled when he was a kid. Jeff Jarrett's been wrestling since he was, 17, 18 years old for his father's organization, the USWA and Memphis Wrestling. He knows the way things are. There's a lot of showboating there. He covers up for the fact that he's a 54-year-old man. However, Jeff Jarrett looks believable next to these skinny kids who are wrestling in jeans, and don't get me started on Moxley. Don't get me started on John Moxley. That's Orange Cassidy. Come on.
Oh my word. Oh my word. That one.
If he was wrestling, if he was wrestling guys his own size, it would be believable. But I remember a match he had with AEW's answer to Drew McIntyre, or AEW's answer to, I mentioned the guy's name, Wardlow. Wardlow's a huge guy. He's Batista size.
Monster. He's a
Huge
monster.
dude.
Don remembers this. He wrestled Orange Cassidy on an episode of Dynamite, and Orange Cassidy got so much offense in, it was ridiculous. And there are guys who watch that, who are veterans, who are still alive, and think to themselves, what's going on here? What's happened? What is this? What is this? Why is it like this? It leaves a bad taste in your mouth because there's no believability. There's no more tough guys in professional wrestling. There are some that are tough, and they're in the WWE. Brock Lesnar. Cody Rhodes is a tough son of a bitch who wrestled a match with a torn pec. Remember that?
Yes, he did. Shoot.
Yes, he did.
Shoot. Tore it off.
Took his shirt off, took his robe off, and people went, oh, in the crowd. Because the minute, I don't know if you saw that.
Nasty.
He had purple, you saw that, purple, red, the color of rainbow was on that man's chest, on his pec and his shoulder. But he wrestled a match against Seth Rollins, one of the best workers nowadays.
And
I will have to give him some props.
Bottles, you want to know why that stood out so much? It wasn't the match that stood out. It was because when you saw it, for a shoot, he was hurt. You bought in, even if it was makeup somewhere along the lines, which it wasn't, but you knew he was wrestling hurt. You bought into the character, you bought into the story, and you wanted to see the heel go down in flames. And I remember the match because my son said, oh, my God, Dad, he's really hurt. I said, yeah, he is really hurt. And back in the day, that was the difference. You never knew when they weren't hurt. You never knew when they were hurt. You just went along with the story, and it sucked you in. You lost yourself for an hour a night in believability factors of two men having a real professional issue with each other about money, women, or titles, and you said, somebody's got to go down now.
That's right. That's right. It was a legitimate struggle. It was a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, we didn't know who was going to win. Later on, you might have, but as watching it early on, we had no idea who was going to win. I didn't. I was like, I had my hopes. There were certain guys who go to the ring and come in there, and I was like, yeah, I hope they win. Sometimes they did, sometimes they didn't. One match I remember, I grew up in Oregon, Pacific Northwest, first match 1983, Portland Sports Arena, and I got to see Rip Oliver versus Rowdy Piper in a log and chain match. And there was so much blood on the canvas when I was 10 years old. And after seeing that, A, I was hooked again. Abdul the Butcher's the one that got me hooked before, but B, I believe those guys really wanted to kill each other, really wanted to hurt each other. They really wanted to fight. It was real. The struggle was real.
And you're right about that. What you just said, the struggle was real. There's no struggle nowadays. There's no, there's conflict, but there's no struggle. You don't see the face coming up from underneath like a Ricky Morton would be. The fight back and persevere at the end of the struggle. You don't have that anymore. It's too choreographed. There's no free-for-all anymore. There's no just pure flat-out violence. If you've got a beef with a guy, let's say, Motor, you got a beef with Don. Don's in the ring. They announce your name, and you're coming down to your music, and you're like strolling down, slapping five with the fans. You could be like Jeff Hardy and do your dance while your brother's getting his ass kicked in the ring, just to appease the fans, and then run down to the ring and jump in and take care of business. There's no sense of urgency. If I was going to run, if you were to run to the ring to kick Don's ass, don't play my music, guys. I'm running down. And you run down and jump in, and the match is starting. They would ring the bell. One thing I miss about the old days is when there's a free-for-all in the ring and somebody goes off the script and there's a DQ finish and the guy's beating the piss out of Cody Rhodes, whoever it could be, whatever the heel would be, the heel du jour of the week. And the whole faction jumps on Cody. They don't ring the bell anymore. Ding, 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 ding. Remember the old days?
Yeah,
Yep.
and they would ring
That guy, the timekeeper, would bang
Yep.
the shit out of that bell. Right.
That's right.
You don't hear. They don't do that
It
anymore.
gave you the illusion of chaos. So that he's over there ringing the hell out of the bell. Here comes 5 more referees down to the ring. Oh, my God, they can't
Absolutely.
get all these faces off of them. Here come the faces to come down and help the good guy. Finally, we're going to have some order restored. But the heels bail out. They're gone. We don't get that tonight. We're going to have to tune in next week to see, are the heels going to finally get their comeuppance? And that's what's missing today. And a fine example of that, and I hate to bring it up, but this past week on AEW, Motor, did you watch?
Pardon me. I did not watch, but I did not watch, but I did get the skinny from certain podcasts online, and I heard it was a travesty. Or was it?
Give me your thought, Bob.
It was. Towards what match?
All of it. I mean, just in general, the whole show. I mean, I don't want to get too involved into it here, but you just had your biggest, supposedly your biggest pay-per-view of the year with a four-way with your four pillars, right? That's the whole thing,
Right.
the four pillars, right? How many pillars were on the show this week?
2, 3.
I think. I know
Maybe.
the champ wasn't there.
I will say one thing about AEW, and we like to shit on AEW, and I admit that because it's not a good product, and it's not a good product because it's all about storytelling. They can't tell a story because there's no follow up, like what you're saying, Don. There's no follow up whatsoever. It's like reading a novel, and the last page is torn out. You take it back to the bookstore and complain, or you try to find online what happened on that last page. It's out there in the ether. There's no follow-up. You can't tell what's going to happen next because maybe 2 months from now, they'll bring those people back together, and Excalibur will have to say, well, if you remember from All In back in 2022, these two had a blood feud going on, but yada, yada, yada. Why have to go back and have all that verbal download of information when they could just not have all the lucha guys on, not have all these signees that you sign and collect these people like action figures and sign them and have them on for a match and they're gone. You don't see them again.
Yeah.
Why not follow up with storylines from your pay-per-views into your next your next broadcast on regular television to pop a rating? Here's an example from their last pay-per-view. Jade Cargill lost, where she wrestled Taya Valkyrie, Mrs. John
Yes.
Morrison, and she beat her. Chris Statlander, who's been out for like 9 months with a torn ACL, wrecked knee, completely destroyed her knee. Second time for her. She comes back, and she could have challenged Jade Cargill to a match on Dynamite this coming Wednesday. Hey, that's going to happen. I'm definitely tuning into Dynamite. No, they did it right then and there, a title change. Oh, Jade was worn out from wrestling Taya Valkyrie, and that's why she lost to Chris Statlander. She lost her belt. She's done it before. She's wrestled longer matches, and I just don't understand it. However, he has hired Will Washington from Fightful, who ran a podcast for Fightful. I don't know if you're familiar with him. Will Washington was hired as a social media director for AEW to try to keep Tony Khan from tweeting all the time and having some sort of continuity through the tweets where they could promote the shows, promote the house shows and all that. Will's now on the booking committee. So maybe they're going to try and integrate a little more cohesion in their storylines. I'll believe it when I see it. But you've got 60 people writing those storylines up in Stamford, Connecticut for the WWE. And a lot of it makes sense. Some of it doesn't when the 79-year-old madman gets a hold of it and sees it. Cut this, pal. Cut that, pal. This is out of here, pal. What's the skinny kid doing on Raw? Put him in the main event.
Yep.
So
It's exasperating. It's exasperating for a wrestling fan because they have so much. It's like buying a car that's got so many great features to it. But the car's only got a 1.8 liter engine. But it's got all these other great features.
But it's
And
got
it can't
no
get
ass
anywhere.
in the engine.
It got no ass in the engine, buddy. It can't get anywhere. It's a beautiful car. Looks nice.
All show and no
Nice.
go, baby.
Right.
All show and no go.
So,
That's it. That's what
so
we
I
have with
bring up the
AEW.
AEW. I bring up the topic about what happened Wednesday night for this, and I'm going to try to be as succinct as I can about this as a fan. of the wrestling industry. I don't watch all the 4,000 independent shows, and I'm not going to ever do that. If you're on my national television show, I'll give you a shot. I have wanted to watch AEW since its inception. I've wanted to be a fan of this show. I was promised a product that would count the wins and losses, that would present me with something that was supposed to represent old school wrestling in a fighting way that would make me feel nostalgic and understand the importance of the face winning or the heel winning, and they would have a real struggle. That's not what I've gotten to this point. And again, the reason I say this, the biggest part about the past show wasn't a single match that they had or a single angle that they had on or off camera. It was the announcement of CM Punk coming to a new Saturday show.
Yeah.
That's all anybody's going to remember about this show. It's
Right.
a guy that hasn't been wrestling in 7 to 8 months was your biggest announcement on a show that hasn't started yet. If that is your primetime deal, if that's what's drawing your rating right now, you might want to look at your product and have a real introverted look and say, you know what? Maybe I'm not making the best decisions with all these guys. Maybe I've got some stars here that fans really like, and I keep doing these half-ass push-stop-starts, and the fans can't get behind it after that point. How many times has Wardlow won that title and dropped it? What the hell's the guy he just beat for it, by the way? I can't remember his name now.
Damn good point.
Powerhouse Hobbs.
Another waste.
Powerhouse Hobbs.
Right there. Powerhouse Hobbs is such a waste. Oh, my God. They could have pushed him all the way to the damn top, and they haven't done it yet. And the poor guy gets buried. I don't think they ever will.
If he was in WWE, he'd be a star.
Yep. Agreed 100%.
You know that?
The reason I bring up Hobbs is because that guy's got a real story to tell, man. His life has been a struggle. Like, that dude, you can make him a heel all you want, but knowing the personal side of that guy's struggle now behind the scenes, I'm going to pull for that guy in any situation he's ever in. Once you learn that much about somebody's behind-the-scene life, I don't know how the hell you could ever boo that guy or hope he doesn't come out on top. How does he not stay a face after knowing the tragedy that his life has been to this point in time? You can't boo that guy. You can't hope that guy fails. It's insane how they've set him up to be this monster that, oh, look at the tragedy of the death that surrounded this guy. I don't need that. What I need you to do is tell me how this dude is about to be the next big thing in your company, not tell me how bad of a guy he is because his brother got killed. Are you kidding me right now?
Yep.
If Vince McMahon or Triple H got a hold of that kid, he'd be a superstar right now. Everyone would know his name. He'd be doing Make-A-Wish appearances.
I agree.
He would be the Black John Cena.
Mm-hmm.
He would be.
Uh-huh.
He's got the gift of gab. He's got the size. He can wrestle. And whatever he can't do, they could camouflage his shortcomings, like they always do. I mean, Batista couldn't wrestle. He was a big guy, threw people around. You reacted to him. And they put him in with the best workers. Cornette, in OVW, shaped Batista's career. He was the Leviathan. In OVW, he was the biggest thing, one of the biggest things they had. If you look at the class of graduates from Ohio Valley Wrestling that Jim Cornette nurtured, Batista, Randy Orton started there, John Cena.
Batista was there.
Batista, yeah. There was a few that made it to national television in the WWE. Jillian Hall.
God, what's his name?
The Basham brothers made it. If you remember the Basham brothers.
The Basham brothers.
Yes, remember those guys? Back in the early 2000s.
There's too many to count. There really is just too many to count.
Too many to count.
He put out
but not all of them, not all, they all made it to WWE TV, but they weren't all big. But the people that they did nurture, household names now. Veterans, Hall of Famers, Hall of Famers.
The other reason I bring up this past Wednesday is because I'm going to fast forward to Friday, right? Motor, I don't know if you saw it. I know you're not a big modern guy, but this is why I'm here to talk about it.
Yes, sir.
This show that they had on Friday on the WWE, this SmackDown, I have one question, and I'm serious when I say it. Why can't I get that every damn week? Why can't I get that? Why can't I get that type of show every week? If you saw it, you'd understand why. It was nonstop action. The segments were great. Even the bad segment was also highly entertaining. It was highly entertaining in a bad way because at the end, you still had two women beating the unholy hell out of each other at the entrance ramp. It was amazing. I enjoyed the whole show. My son stayed tuned in. My wife was like, why is Roman Reigns being that way? It was great.
Well, I'll tell you why you can't get that every week. I'll tell you exactly why. Because if you eat pizza and cannolis every night, and I love pizza, I love cannolis. If you eat that every night, you're going to get tired of it sooner or later. You get worn out.
True.
You'll get sick and tired. Look at John Cena. How many people booed Cena after he was shoved down our throats for so long? Bianca Belair is one example. You know what I'm talking about, Motor. John Cena was booed out of the arenas. When they did that ECW One Night Stand, he was going to wrestle Rob Van Dam. He took his T-shirt off and he threw in the crowd.
Uh-oh.
We got a frozen bottle.
Got lost.
Yep.
There we go.
Frozen bottles. I'll reenact it right now.
We got a
What was the last thing you heard
about that part?
Hey, that was a great reenactment.
I know what you're talking about.
Thank you.
The shirt getting thrown out and coming back in. No, I remember that. But here's my point on this, right? And I understand what you're saying about you can't give it to me every week. Give it to me in different characters. I don't need to see the same wrestlers every week. Your roster's big enough to where you can create entertaining storylines for all of the 300 people you have on your show. There's plenty of room to go around. So stop feeding. I've heard it in the wrestling business 100 times. How the hell can I miss you if you don't go away? That's why the champ right now, Roman Reigns, is such a draw because when he's there, it's special. It pops. You got to see what this guy's going to say or do. You got to see it. And people scream, he's not defending the title enough. 2.6 million people just tuned in this Friday. Shut the hell up. Sit in the corner. Figure out what you're doing with your life because you're not doing it right. That was amazing from the start to finish. I couldn't get enough. I just want more of it with more people, with more characters. Your roster is so enormous. Put on a good show because Monday Night Raw is unwatchable right now.
Exactly. I can't even – I tried, like I told you guys, man, I've tried to do it several times, and it just – what you're talking about, though, Don, is exactly right. They need that consistency where every week, something different may happen. Look at when we used to watch AEW – or, excuse me, WWF. Early WWF, AWA, WCCW, Pacific Northwest Wrestling, Mid-South. You didn't know week to week what the hell was going to happen. I mean, every time you watch an episode, it carried on from the next one, and you knew the conflict and you knew the struggle everybody was going through. But then something else, they always had something up their sleeve. And Dutch Mantel, Dirty Dutch, love him to death, always talked about that guy, or talked about that situation all the time. You changed it up. And they had to keep everything fresh because especially in them territories, man, they were there so many, like every damn week they were there. And they always had to change it up, make something different. With the newer wrestling nowadays that I see presented on, WWE and AEW, it's you just like you guys nailed it. It's the same old thing over and over again. Over and over again. But Roman Reigns, definitely something special. I just think something needs to happen. It's just been too long.
It's special because of one guy, the guy who also books those segments for Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman.
Paul Heyman.
If you think Paul Heyman doesn't have his fingers in that pie, he does. He's up to his elbows in that Roman Reigns pie. But what you guys talk about brings us back in a circuitous loop back to the territories. How can I miss you when you won't go away? In the territories, a lot of times you work on a handshake agreement. In the AWA, Mid-South, WCCW, you would appear for the AWA, and after about 6 months' time, well, you get a little stale here, buddy. Move on, come back in a couple of months. That guy would go to the NWA, appear in that organization for about 6 months, then go to WCCW. Next thing you know, he's back in the AWA 6 months later. You don't have that now. Right. You're under contract to one organization. So all you're doing is moving from show to show to show. Now, what they are doing is, I will say, they have what's called free agents. Now, if you're a regular viewer, you know that some guys in the draft, some talent, were deemed free agents. Mustafa Ali is a free agent. Mustafa Ali is currently on NXT. They did this in the past a year ago with Apollo Crews. You take the old dented Toyota Corolla, do a little body work on it, give it a fresh coat of paint, and you run it on a different track. And that's what they did with Apollo Crews. They moved him from Raw to NXT, where he actually became a great performer and put in a lot of – he's got pretty jacked, Apollo Crews has. They're doing that right now with Mustafa Ali, who was always on a losing streak when he was on Raw or SmackDown. And I think that's a great way to go in lieu of the lack of territories. You really can't say, Mustafa Ali, you're under contract to us, but we're going to loan you out to AEW, or we're going to loan you out to Impact. I wish they did have a good working relationship with Impact, because they could use a little star power right now. I mean, if they really said, could. Okay, they really could. And the only thing they've got is Trinity. But if you look at the ratings for Impact, Impact's up 18% over what they did this time last year. It's not because of Trinity. It's because maybe they changed their booking around a little bit. And they've got some better angles. I don't know. I'm not a big follower of Impact. I try to watch it. Couldn't do it. It seems like a throwback to the old AEW, actually, with like a dimly lit arena, not a lot of people there. I don't like a lot of the wrestlers that they have. They have a lot of flippy-floppy guys. It's like,
so did you
like what Motorhead said? Hang on a second. It's like what Motorhead said at the beginning of this. He said, "You watch it and you watch it and you watch it and you pray that it's going to be different. It's going to get good at this particular time that you're watching it. And you're watching a 3-hour Monday Night Raw, and you come to 10 o'clock, and you're going, same old, same old. Am I right, Motor?
Exactly, Bottles.
But did you like Friday? Did you watch?
I love Friday. Cinematic, buddy. Cinematic.
So you agree though? This past Friday was great.
Fantastic. Absolutely. So SmackDown's the better. Out of all the shows they put out that they produce, SmackDown is the best show. It really is.
I agree as far as
Raw would be number 2. Raw will be number 2. I'm talking strictly WWE. Right. NXT, not so much. NXT is dropping in the ratings. They're 3% down over what they did last year. And that's because probably call-ups. Yeah.
Yeah. We talked about that. It's probably the call-ups, and you got to get the new stars over. But, I bring this all the way, circle it back around to the Friday show because of this. Then I switched over and watched the DVR and said, I'm going to watch the AEW show that they had tonight. And I got introduced to Cirque du Freaking-Lay for about a minute and a half with 3 jabronis in the ring, pretending to be wrestlers, literally jumping over and back and back and back and back. And said, okay, I don't know what the shit this is, but the fast forward button is coming right now. This is going to happen right now. Yeah. I keep going forward. I'm like, what is going on here? Aubrey Edwards, the ref, is getting into a beef with – is Aubrey Edwards about to fight another wrestler? Am I getting Danny Davis 30 years later in the WWF?
Oh, my God.
Are you shitting me right now?
Come on.
They're not wrestlers. Exactly. They're not wrestlers.
Nope.
Karen Jarrett's not a wrestler.
I got to bounce out. Don, Johnny Bottles, been a pleasure. We started off great. Cheers to both you guys. I got to get my son from practice. I carried on a little longer, but damn it, you guys doing a fabulous job as always. The mouth, Mr. Bottles himself. You guys take care. We'll do this again real soon.
Keep the faith. Keep smiling, Motor.
All right, brothers. Thank you. Peace out.
Yep. So to carry on my – are you there?
I'm here.
Yeah, I got about 15 minutes to spare here. We can go down this line of thought. Hey, what's up, buddy?
That's Bubba the Wonder Dog. There he is.
One of your many.
One of my many Huskies, yes.
So he
was looking my ankle, so I had to put him on camera. He said, what do I have to do to get ahead in this business? You got to lick my ankle, pal.
I think that's what Vince McMahon said, too.
He was aiming a little higher up.
Yeah, I believe so.
Let's not go there.
So I flip over to that, and I see that going down, and I get that it's Karen Jarrett, right? And I get that, but here's my honest to God question, man. does anybody, and I do mean this because, again, I come back to this. I want to like AEW so much. I want to enjoy this program. Does anybody believe for 1 second that this is going to be entertaining? And if so, I want to know why.
I think they'll pull out every bell and whistle into this because, number one, it's Jeff Jarrett's wife. I'm sure he's taught her how to work. Number two, Sanjay Dutt got the pencil, the bald Indian guy with the pencil behind his ear always. The reason why he's got a pencil behind his ear is because he's one of the bookers backstage. He inputs information to Tony Khan on how to write the show. He did that when he was with Impact Wrestling. And that's why they say that, quote unquote, the X division, which he was in, was so good because Sanjay Dutt, from what I understand, booked a lot of that. Sanjay Dutt's a booker. Jeff Jarrett is teaching his wife a match, not how to wrestle a match, but wrestle that match. Aubrey Edwards can. This is what I say about NXT all the time. When you're
Uh-oh, Bottles, you're cutting out, buddy. Uh-oh. Hold on, Bottles. It's coming back slowly, buddy. I think your ISP has taken a dump. There we go. You're back. You broke up there. What were you saying about Aubrey Edwards? I think.
Do again.
Hold on, buddy. It's breaking up bad. I don't know what's going on. Oh, no, brother.
I see you right now, pal. You're in good shape.
Move. There we go. Right okay, you broke up bad there. I don't know what happened. You were talking about Aubrey Edwards. I'm sorry, it just broke up.
That's all right, pal. Aubrey Edwards, Karen Jarrett, they're learning how to wrestle that match. You're not going to see Aubrey Edwards go in against Willow Nightingale on AEW. She's going to wrestle that match. So they've got, whenever they put that match on pay-per-view, if they put it on regular TV, they're fucking stupid. They should put that match on pay-per-view to get people to see it. Something you would be enticed, one of the carrot that they're dangling in front of your face to go and order that pay-per-view on Fight TV or through your cable provider. They've got to, that entire time period, a month and a half, to learn how to wrestle that particular match with the run-ins, foreign objects, all the gaga, as Cornette would say that they want to throw in on that, and perfect it and have it look good. When you're in NXT and they announce, let's say, Tiffany Stratton's going to wrestle Cora Jade, they've got a week long in a professional WWE ring in the Performance Center to practice that match and make it look good. That's why the matches in NXT look so good. When those talents come up to the main roster, they go on a main event. WWE main event, which is a Peacock-only show. You watch that on the Cock, Don? Main event? I've dialed in a couple times and watched it. I've watched it a couple times. Well, what they do is they have a gatekeeper, like a Dolph Ziggler type, and he's been on there a lot. Mustafa Ali has been on there a lot. So has Nikki Cross. They're bringing NXT people up now who they want to have a look at to see if they can put a match together in the ring instead of actually rehearsing it for a week. See who can sink or swim. Some people make it, some people don't. Some people go right back down. Here's an example. Elektra Lopez. She's still in NXT. She needs a little work, I would assume. You've got, I'm trying to think of who else came up. Wesley, did he come up? Not sure. I'd have to go back and do a little research. I don't want to go and say anything. I want to name any names and have people come back and say, hey, you were wrong about that.
You don't know what the hell you're talking about. You're just a hateful son of a bitch.
Why are you going to mention Wesley? I like Wesley. He's a good guy. He wasn't on main event. Jesus,
and the one
God
thing
almighty.
that drives me crazy, man, and it's this is what drives me crazy about the wrestling fan base is when you point out the ratings. Well, there's other metrics too. Look, man, I got news for you. The main metric that all TV stations still use to now are the draws. That's why you see it every time there's an NFL game, an NBA game, an NHL game. People still predominantly watch all forms of entertainment on cable or satellite television. Like it or not, eventually we may get away from that. We're not there yet. That's why it matters. If you're only drawing 850,000 people a week and it's not growing, I got news for you. You're not drawing another 2 million on another avenue or another damn website, another streaming service. That's your number. Give or take 50,000 people, that's your number. And I've heard it for the last several weeks. Well, the NBA and NHL playoffs are on, and we just saw it happen. There was an increase on average of about 70,000 people. I'll give them a little bit more credit than they probably deserve that tuned in. So of the 5 million people, watching the NHL and NBA playoffs, you got 100,000 or 70,000 from that sector. Stop pretending that your product's not failing. You need to change something. Something has to give. So a wrestling fan like myself who wants to watch your product every week, that wants to tune in and say, man, entertain me and make me disbelieve life for about 2 hours. I got enough shit going on. Instead, I get the Young Bucks backstage with Pirate Asshole sitting there talking about how Kenny Omega's not there because his ego couldn't handle the fact that CM Punk was about to be the biggest part of this show week in and week out.
Pirate Asshole, really? That's tremendous. That's tremendous. A guy who's got flowers on his cowboy jeans and a Dolly Parton t-shirt.
Cowboy. He's a cowboy.
He's a cowboy. What was that song from the 90s? I want to be a cowboy.
That's probably more
and you can be my cowgirl.
Yeah.
My wife just said, oh, my God. Mrs. Bottles. There was a cameo appearance just now by Mrs. Bottles.
She's doing a run-in.
She did a run-in. That's... If you see a steel chair come across my head, I'm out for the rest of the podcast, pal.
Well, I know it was well deserved.
Yes.
So I got one more point of a topic I want to talk to you about, Bottles. I mean,
What's
I know
that,
it's
buddy?
our first show on here, and it's a rough draft, and we're just trying to work our way through this thing without any kind of an itinerary that I was hoping to have. But
have you seen Larry Bradford? Larry said it was a Busby Berkeley production on AEW.
I just saw
love
that.
it.
Yes. Thank you. Appreciate it, Larry. Thank you. So I started talking about wrestling books on Twitter the other day, and I've read quite a few in my life. I've read quite a few. I've always wanted to read Death of the Territories, and I ordered it yesterday, and it came overnight. So I'm going to start that. I've heard it's a great book. I'm hoping to get some knowledge base out of it that I don't have, because I've seen about every damn documentary I could possibly see. I've listened to all the podcasts that are out there, which, quite frankly, I think is most old school wrestling fans' way to deal with the modern product, is to listen to the old hats talk about how bad the show was and what they would have done differently. But have you read The Death of the Territories?
No, but it sounds like something I need to read. I love that type of old school wrestling history. It's so fascinating. It really is. I read Gary Hart's book, and that was just phenomenal. I mean, he wrote it himself, no ghostwriter, and all the details, all the things that he encountered in his life. It was fantastic. You know what? I have a PDF of that, Gary Hart's book. When you're done with Death of the Territories, I'll send that over to you.
Yeah, I'll send you Death of the Territories. I'll get you Death of the Territories. We'll do a book exchange on it, because I've always wanted
there
to.
You go.
I like reading about. I mean, I've read a lot of wrestling books. I'm not sure how much you have. To this day, I think the best well-written story or wrestling book was Mankind's "Have a Nice Day." I thought that was fascinating.
Fantastic. It really was. Then he went back. Foley is good. When he went back to the well, I think 2 more times.
Yeah.
You can't repeat the success, the phenom of the first book. But to each his own.
But again,
I'm a hater. Naturally, I'm a hater.
Oh,
what can I say?
Yeah, I know. But I mean, the first book was absolute gold. And there's a line in that book, and I'm not sure if you remember it, when he was giving Diamond Dallas Page a hard time in the hotel room, I want to say it was. And there was a lot of that book where he had cookies in his bed.
Yes. Diamond Dallas Page is Saran Wrap King.
Yes.
He wrapped
So
his
he
joints
jumps
up in
up.
saran wrap.
So he got so pissed, he started jumping on Mick Foley's bed with cookies in it, screaming, "How do you like fucking cookies in your bed?" And I just remember, because I was in the 82nd Airborne at the time, reading this in the field, laughing my ass off at midnight, waking up my first sergeant and getting my ass chewed out for about 30 minutes, how I was laughing and causing us all to be in harm's way in a training mission. And all I could think was, if you read the book, First Sergeant, you'd get it.
And for those of you who are watching this, who need some frame of reference for what Don's referring to, we will say Mick Foley's first book, Mankind, Have a Nice Day, is fantastic. Go out and get it. If it's not in print, see if you get an old copy of it somewhere from a used bookstore or wherever you can buy it online. That's how most people get their reading material now online. But Diamond Dallas Page was a big proponent of
wrapping in ice.
Different types of healing from the breaking your body down on the road, wrestling, and all that. And keep in mind, Diamond Dallas Page was over 40 when he started, so he had a tough way to go, body-wise, getting in shape and just feeling the aches and pains. If you're over 40, if you're 50, you can feel the aches and pains of aging. Dallas would wrap his joints up that ached in saran wrap to preserve the body heat into the joint to loosen it up. That's how he would wrap himself up at his shoulders, his elbows, his knees, his schwanz, whatever. He would wrap himself up. And Mick Foley had cookies in his bed. He crumpled up cookies in Dallas's bed. And Dallas is very, very anal when it comes to the way his house should look, his clothing, things like that, neatness. Maybe he vacuums his house 6 times a day. Mick Foley's a notorious slob, and he's cheap. The reason why they were in the same hotel room is because wrestlers back in the day, to save money, would piggyback off of each other, rent one hotel room with twin beds. It's cheaper than having 2 hotel rooms. It's cheaper than having 1 hotel room with a king-size bed. Then they would share the cost.
There was a third guy. There was a third guy in the room that night. I don't remember who it was, though.
I think you may be right. Yes, I think you may be right. You remember the story from that book where
they would swap out who slept on the cot that night. They would say, "You get the cot tonight, we get the bed." They would do a big trio change. They were doing trios matches in the damn hotel room for the beds.
You know one guy that you don't want to share a hotel room with?
Vader.
Andre the Giant.
No, sir. Nope, not happening. I'm not going into Y right now.
Nobody's taking it.
Into Y right now.
I'll just say no one will take a shower when they're sharing a room with Andre the Giant.
No, you will.
The shower's off limits.
Well,
just
brother,
if you get a hotel room with Andre the Giant, you check and see if there's a garbage disposal in the shower.
And you don't go near that shower ever.
No.
Wash yourself from the sink.
Exactly. If you can get that far. If you can get that close. Well, Don, we did 43 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, off the cuff, I think that's pretty good. You know?
Yeah.
I'm going to go see what the wife is over here yelling at me about. Maybe hey, you knock it off. I will come off the top rope, woman.
You don't want to mess with the Don Wayne train, let me tell you.
You do not.
All right, y'all the best. Yeah. This is the first one of many more.
Appreciate it, Coach.
So you're saying we didn't shit the bed? Is that what you're saying?
Dude, y'all are stars.
Can you curse on here? Maybe I should ask you now before we go any further.
I mean, the F word is frowned upon on YouTube. Other than that,
okay. Yeah.
So I'm going to press end here, y'all. We can sit and talk for a second, but y'all the best.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach.